At the heart of violent conflict is really our inability to manage non-violent conflict, the normal sort of conflict that we would get into day to day, which is healthy. But when it becomes unhealthy and becomes violent, this is when armed conflict can then be triggered.
The current situation is we have a record 168 million people worldwide that need help and protection in crises. Of these, almost 80 million people are forcibly displaced, and 68% of those come from just 5 countries.
So in conflict prevention, conflict resolution work, there's an increasing understanding that nobody has all the answers. Different organizations, different governments, all understand a little piece of the puzzle.
If you look at the nature of conflict, it's always going to impact those who are already marginalized. I really think we need a new way to talk about women in conflict that doesn't only describe them as victims. And it's a language that's very easy to turn to say, look at this person, they're suffering, you can help them. But women experience conflict in many different ways, and they will have protection needs. A lot of them also fight every day to preserve their space in the public sphere. They take incredible risks in really difficult and fragile contexts to provide support to other women, their children and their communities. They're often at the front lines of response and most exposed to violence and harm. And to do this is a sign of great resilience and strength. So we shouldn't see women as victims only, because they're an important part of society and they're going to play a vital role in the revitalization of post-conflict societies.
And the way through is to form collaborations and partnerships. Societal leaders, governments can put in place measures that can reduce the likelihood of conflicts escalating to violence and escalating to armed conflicts and war. They can put in place mediation, negotiation, all sorts of mechanisms to reduce the feelings that people have. We need also a bottom-up approach, and that's local community leaders highlighting the problems. It's about talking. It's about understanding what's going on, and it's about then resolving the situation, addressing the key underlying issues, and paying attention to those who are suffering and who have grievances.
But once conflict has broken out, then it's imperative to stop the conflict as soon as possible, making sure hostilities are done within the framework of Geneva Conventions, holding any people accountable for disproportionate attacks and violence, and pushing for negotiations and dialogue to ensure the peace is secured as soon as possible.
I can imagine a world free from war and violent conflict, but it's a world of constant vigilance. We have done amazing things as a species, so it is something we can achieve, but we have to commit to it. We have to understand that it's possible, and then we have to put everything in place that we can to reduce dramatically the impact of war on our most vulnerable people.